When my mother was struggling to find help for me as a young man, there was nobody who understood our problems and I could relate to. So after many failed attempts, I ended up in prison. My mother's sense of failure, shame, and stress were real. The worst part was she went through it alone. She was alone in trying to keep me out of prison. She was alone in navigating the prison system. And she was also alone trying to help me re-enter post my release. The Cafe of Hope was created so you don't have to go this journey alone. I know firsthand by real experiences what you're facing and you're feeling. We are here for you. I wish I could have created the Cafe of Hope for my mother back when she needed it, but I guess it was meant for us to go through this test so we can bring you our testimony. Thank you for allowing us to help support your family. Welcome back to a Cafe of Hope, and I definitely appreciate you coming. We have a special guest today. This special guest is a gentleman that's sitting here. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Dominic Williams.
And if you had a chance to read my book, The Ambassador of Hope, I've been knowing this gentleman since I was 12 years old. When I grew up in a city and I grew up without the dad, running around the hood, this is the guy I looked up to. And when he went to jail, it was 81?
Yeah.
I'm saying I was like 14 years old when he went to prison. And what we used to do in the neighborhood was literally sit at the mailbox and say, I wonder what Dominic's doing. And Dominic sent to maximum security prison. So from 14 to 18, we used to always sit around and wonder what Dominic was doing. So we had subconsciously started talking about prison at 14 and glorifying it and thinking it was a cool place to be until we eventually ended up there ourselves. And I tell folks, when I got off the bus, you were right there. Mm-hmm. You picked me up, and I was on the home team. And I thought to myself, I'd have done almost anything to hang with you in the street.
Right.
And all I had to do was rob a couple people. I mean, it was like this is a great deal. Mm-hmm. I thought this was a good deal.
Yeah.
I get to hang out with Dominic. And the fact that I was in prison was irrelevant because you were such a big name and a big space in our lives as young guys. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna talk about prison. And because you were there when I got there, you know way more than I do. What does it look like in prison? What's a day in prison look like for folks?
First of all, day in prison, I don't want to do it again. Honestly, I don't want to do it again. So that's why I'm on the right track now. Well, you know, the officers, we wasn't competitive. That was your enemy, you know, automatically. Even though you had enemies in prison, but the officers was our enemy. And we always, you know, wasn't carrying a conversation with the officer at that time. You know, we always kept it prisoner to prisoner.
So how's it for a new guy just getting off the bus?
For a new guy getting off the bus, always one of his homies to pull up on him and let him know what's going on as far as the do's and the don'ts.
Gotcha.
You know?
So once the new guy gets off the bus, that was me, mm-hmm. and you pull up on him, oh, yo, you from here, you with them. And I was like, cool, I'm with the big homie.
Right.
So now, inadvertently, you're in charge of my day.
Right. Well.
So what am I going to do all day?
Well, you was in charge of the numbers. Dre was in charge of the numbers. He good with numbers, for sure.
I found a hustle within the team, but
right.
As far as what we did day to day, it's like, I remember we used to get up, go to the yard, work out, run the track, then just like hang out.
Yeah.
I'm saying, and then dudes did their hustles.
Right.
I'm saying, then the day would end, and then you get up the next day. When I first came to prison, you asked me this question: did you go to trial? Did you plead guilty?
Did you cop out?
I said I went to trial.
Right.
And you made me go to law library to work on my case. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I was forced by you to work on my case, I ain't gonna tell you no, I didn't want to be down there.
Right.
I wanted to be out on the yard with y'all.
That's right.
And when they took me from Walpole and they shipped me to the classification center,
right.
I got there, they said, well, you're only doing this amount of time. I said, well, how do I get back to Walpole, to the max?
Right.
They said, you don't go back to the max.
You don't go back to the max.
You're going to a medium. You're in the first time. I said, no, I need to be back at the max. They said, why? I said, Dominic's dead. They said, well, he's doing life.
Right.
You're not doing life.
Right.
I was like, no, you're not understanding.
Right.
I've waited my whole life to hang out with him. Mm-hmm. They said, well, you're not going to the max. You're going to a medium and you're going to X, Y, Z. I said, well, I asked somebody. I said, yo, dude named Herb Johnson, what do I need to do to get to the max?
Right.
He said, you just need to be a terror.
Yeah.
So I started beating down everything in sight.
Smashing
everybody out. Right. Smashed out this dude, the CO came, smashed him out, went to segregation, smashed the public, they put me on the bus, sent me to Walpole.
Right.
It was a punishment.
Right. Yeah.
They were I'm like, man, you just did me a favor. When I got back, I'm like, yo, I'm back.
Right. Definitely.
But it was, I remember the first time I made a mistake. I messed up, and y'all took me out to the yard. That's when dude was had the issue in the visiting room, and it came back that I was part. I didn't. Dudes was talking about one of the homies,
right.
And I was in the conversation. I didn't stand up for him.
Right.
So when you pulled up on them, they were quick to say, "Nah, it wasn't disrespectful. One of your men was in the conversation."
One of your men was in the conversation.
So y'all took me out on the yard. I'm first time. I go outside. We walk way to the end of the yard where they kill people.
Right.
Behind the handball wall, the big mound of dirt, and they had the whole team there discussing my outcome.
Your outcome.
What should happen to Dre? And everybody got these. I'm listening like, dude, that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
I ain't gonna lie. The first thought I had was to run. I said, man, I'm out of here. And I was about to run. Then I realized I'm doing 100 years in prison.
Yeah.
That wall is real. Ain't nowhere to run to.
Nowhere.
So I stood there. And at the end of it, you told me, you said, listen, we're going to give you a pass this time.
Definitely.
But the next time, no, we handle our own.
Definitely, we handle our own. We don't let nobody else handle them.
Yeah. And I ain't never made another mistake. 14 door to door. That was my first and last one because it sat with me. But they in prison.
Well, once them doors crack, you're always on alert. As soon as the doors crack, you're on alert. You find out who's where they got to go. If your men's got to go outside the block, you find out where they're going to be at. That's was our ultimate thing, was find out where everybody's going to be, is basically being on security, for everybody on our team.
But why do you need security? You're in prison. What do you need security for?
There's killers. They be killing people in prison for nothing. It's sad to say, because you got people that's going to be there for the rest of their lives. If you cross their path, you'll be a victim.
So what I want to do in the next segment is there's a lot of mothers and families who don't understand prison culture.
Right.
So we definitely want to address for moms and for sisters and for family what it's really, really like and what they could do, to make that difference.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, because it's important that they get ahead of this and they know. There's what we really know and then there's what they think they know on the outside.
Well, a lot of times people on the outside they really don't know what's going on inside. They know that their sons or daughters are incarcerated and they feel that, they're safe. Nah.
All right, well, we're going to definitely bring that up for the next segment. So we are officially back. We have Mr. Dominic Williams.
Yes.
Appreciate you. You know that. Love you too. I want to ask you a question because you are somebody that everybody knew and looked up to before and during prison. And you got into a lot of stuff. You got shipped out of the state, you've been to SEG, you've been charged with all kinds of heinous crimes behind the wall.
Right.
What would your mother think of what you was doing while you was in jail?
If she really knew, she would be sad.
So, knowing that, you love your moms, I know that for facts. So why didn't your mother's love impact how you acted inside?
The reason for her love not impacting how I was doing inside, because I shielded everybody out. I kept everything inside. Even though I sent money to the outside, but I never let them know really what I was doing inside.
So as tough as you were, what would have been the difference if your grandmother got on the phone and said, boy, I heard you up there doing these things. Would that have made a difference? Or you just said, nah, I just got to do what I got to do?
Yeah, I would have just told her, nah, I'm not doing that.
You'd have lied?
I would have lied. Because, they hear things, people on the street hear things what people are doing on the streets, but, it's twofold. You know what I'm saying? Because some people enhance it and some people don't enhance it, But at the same time, what I was doing in prison was for real. You know, and a lot of people knew because they was leaving from the prison, going home saying, yo, that's what that nigga doing.
I know, but the Cafe of Hope is geared for family members. You know what I'm saying? So we up there doing our thing. I took my cues from you in the beginning and all the way through, and I said, okay, this is how I need to be. You know what I'm saying? I need to be like Dominic. My whole goal was to be like Dominic. I ain't no, oh man, you whatever. Call me what you want. I learned from the best, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? It got me through 14. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that part, but it's like, how do we tell parents, how do you find out the truth about your child from your child? Because you said you lied to your mom.
Yeah, I'm
So how do we help moms better understand how to engage and find out what their kid is really doing?
Well, first and foremost, I would say they would come see their kids more. Because, you know, due to the fact my parents was out of state, they really didn't know, you know? You know, I would say to the parents to...
You the lied in the visiting room.
Yeah, not only that, I understand that, but at the same time, come see them more. Because we wasn't being seen, you know, my parents wasn't coming up there a lot. They was coming up there maybe 2-3 years at a time, you know, elapsed, you know what I'm saying? And I always told my parents, if someone passed away in my family, do not call the prison. Because somebody's gonna get it, something's gonna go bad. Something's gonna go bad. You know, so I always let them know that, you know, if anything happened to a family member, come and see me and tell me. Because if you call me to the chapel might get it. You know what I'm saying? Right. Or, you know, whoever else bring that message.
There's no trust with the chaplain.
There's no trust with none of them.
There's no trust with staff. So the concept of that is you trust them, so you can't send a message like that third party.
Exactly. You know? But I would say to parents to, you know, reach out more to their kids. You know, don't you know, just, you know, oh, they're in prison, they're safe. Because a lot of parents think, well, if they're in prison, they're safe. No, they're not safe. You know what I'm saying? Because your son might not be like a Dominic or Andre. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's sad we done seen a whole bunch of kids catch bad ones.
Definitely. So I want to focus on, okay, I wanted to be like you. Since the time I was like 8. You went to jail when I was 12. But I want to be like Dominic. The next kid wants to be like Dominic. I get off the bus. I mean, when I got parole, when I went to the parole board and I got parole, people said to me, Andre, how did you get parole?
Right.
Because life is needed to get 4 out of 7 votes to get parole. They said, man, you done been charged with attempted murder, you've been shipped around the country, you done spent 100 years in SEG, you fight all the time. How did you get 4 out of 7 to get you? I said, I didn't get 4 out of 7.
Right.
I got 2 out of 3.
Right.
They said, no, life is need 4 out of 7. I said, I'm not a lifer.
Right,
and they stopped in their tracks. I did 14 years.
Right.
Everybody who knew me thought I was doing life.
Yep.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because I copied you.
Right.
I didn't realize that my entire circle were lifers.
Entire circle.
And I copied them and how I did time. Like I was never going. I was doing stuff that would keep me there forever. But y'all weren't going home.
Right.
So y'all could do that.
But
I tried to do it.
But that's the sad part about it. Once a man feels that he's condemned in prison, he carry on the characteristic of being a condemned man, you know, and everybody that's around him, they bring him into that mold. Right. So that means Andre now is a condemned man, even though Andre don't have, but he's carrying on like he's a condemned man.
I literally walked around and had no issue about doing anything to somebody in front of people or not in front of people. Because I never thought about going home. You know why? Because if people taught me how to do time, it wasn't part of their discussion.
Right.
It was never like when I go home. So it was like, we're here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how do we get moms to get kids to not be like you?
I would say they need to interact more. Because my mother, she never really interacted anything. You know what I'm saying, with me? You know, we talked and stuff, but, you know, it's crazy. I rode my mother in a hot box one time. You know what I'm saying? She said she needed to go to the store. I'm like, yo, Mom, this car is hot. You know what I'm saying?
She's like, all right, let's roll.
She's like, I need to go. I like, get in real quick and dropped off. But, you know, it's crazy, man. But, you know, it's reality, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we need, our parents really, really need to sit down and talk with us more, you know?
What I think would be super helpful, because there's very few people that I know who was really the guy.
Right.
I see all these videos, I hear all the rappers, I see all the guys at the club, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I was there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for 29 years, you were the guy.
Exactly.
Hands down, Massachusetts #1 dude. If you're that guy, I need to know your name because I never met you.
Right.
But parents need to talk to you.
Right.
As much as they need to talk to me, I was the guy next to the guy.
Right.
People think, oh, Dre's articulate, Dre's great, he works at Harvard, he's been all over the world, and I give advice.
Right.
But my advice at one level is less than what you can give because you were literally that guy. And for a mom or a dad or aunt to be able to call you and say, yo, and get advice on how to proceed and understand would be immense.
Well, you know, through the Academy of Hope and through Cafe of Hope, we're there. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no problem with pulling up on anybody now because we're not in the game anymore. We knew that the game, a lot of people say the streets love you. The streets don't love you.
Nah.
That's
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it was a thing I had to come to between us, where I knew you loved me, but then I had to reconstitute what love meant.
Right.
Because I'm out here hurting people in the name of love. I'm like, I look back like, nah, that was no love.
That's right.
That was just putting in work.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But we called it love.
Right.
But we're gonna end this segment, but I definitely need you to be available for these families for the Cafe of Hope.
Anytime.
We back, Cafe of Hope. I mean, I might just have to have you here all the time, man. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
that's good.
Because I like having you around.
That's right.
It's always been like that. It's the thing. You don't have to unknow people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we did bad. We did cut off track, but now we're back. We're doing great. And one thing I want to discuss is legal. Because I flipped my case. You flipped your case.
Exactly.
But I know so many lawyers who done ripped off people and telling the mom, oh, I can bring your son home.
Right.
Oh, he has this issue.
Right.
Oh, he has that issue. And people want to believe that it can happen. You know what I'm saying? And so many mothers are handing out 10, 20, 40, 50, $80,000 to the professional because he's a lawyer. He can't be a crook. Let me tell y'all, there's crooks all shapes and sizes.
Definitely.
Because you're a lawyer, because you're something professional doesn't mean you can't be a criminal. You know what I'm saying? So most embezzlers are professional accountants. They just choose to go off track. So there are a lot of lawyers who tell you what you want to hear so they can get your money.
Right.
And then they don't deliver, there's really no recourse.
Right.
So I remember when I first came to jail, and I don't want to say there was an older brother, you should do legal work.
Right.
And I went to the law library because you sent me, and he sat me down. Hey, yo, bro, come here, man, young man. He gave me the whole Black Power speech and how the man is holding us down. And if he said, go get your paperwork, and this thing's not gonna be there, and if it's not there, I can get you out. And he showed me the law book.
The seal.
The seal. The seal hustle.
Yeah.
I was trying not to put him all the way out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool. I went up. He said, I think he needed like $4,000 or something, whatever. I went upstairs to call my mom. Yo, mom, I'm in jail maybe 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, or whatever it was. Called my mom. Yo, we can flip this case. Dude just showed me the law books.
Right,
I just need
right.
$4,000, and I was ready to send it. I came to you, and I'm like, yo, I'm out of here.
Yeah, nah.
You're like, nah, Dre. I'm like, this is the first time I told you no. I'm like, no, you don't get it.
Right.
Dude told me I can go home.
Right.
You're like, Dre, no.
Right.
I'm like, no. Dude told me I can go home.
Right.
You had to go get Swanee.
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to you. As much as I loved you, as much as I followed you, as much as everything, when it came time, man, so I can go home,
Right.
I didn't even listen to you.
That's
I
right.
was like, man, you crazy. I disregarded my big bro for what I wanted to hear.
Right.
You went and got Swanee, and Swanee came in and broke the whole thing down
The
and
whole
how he
thing.
got for the same
For the
story.
same story.
And I still didn't really want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I loved you, and I was like, no, my mom said, I said, well, where's he gonna live after he steal my money?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, yo, you can't kill old man.
Yeah.
He's an icon. I'm like, but it hurt me that he lied and was going. I was ready to give him my money.
Right.
I was 100% ready to give him my money.
Right.
So I can only imagine a mom being told by a lawyer, I went for it, and
All day
I'm a
long.
criminal.
All day long they go.
You get the mom in the room, you tell her the nice story, and you bring your son home, and bang.
Yep.
And oops, then they come up with some excuse from the appellate court or the judge or something, and your money just gone.
You know what? The first thing I would say to a mother is have her son go to the law library himself and look, And the reason why I say that, because I didn't do that. Only time I did that is after all y'all done went home, I got, gave y'all the right direction. Then I'm like, hold up. Everybody's going home except me. I went to the law library, even the money I had and all that. I'm like, it took me 2 weeks. I found it. The white guy didn't find it. The lawyer in the law library, he didn't find it. I found it. He just gave me the directions. And once I found it and shot it back to Boston, the lawyer said, yo, you coming home. I'm like, what? And if I would have gotten a law library, when I went to prison, I would have spent 7 years in prison instead of 29. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I could have got myself out, and I had the money for a lawyer, but I got a public defender, and they got me out.
When you sent me to the law library, had I stayed in the law library, I reversed my case on appeal. Had I stayed in the law library when you sent me, I'd have went home in 12 months instead of 14 years.
Exactly.
I stayed in jail 14 years.
Yep.
Instead of 12 months.
Exactly.
Because I didn't go in the law library. I trusted somebody else, and me and my mother and me and my sisters weren't talking about my legal case.
Exactly.
We were talking about canteen, visits, Christmas, pictures, all that type of stuff.
Yep.
My mom didn't know anything about the law, so she couldn't have that
money
conversation.
from the Western Union. Yeah.
So we need to educate moms and families on getting basics on the law, so you can't get scammed,
right? And
you can help your child actually do the best that they can. Because again, I did 80% of the work before my lawyer took the case.
Exactly. So a lot of times, just like we know that it's there, we just got to find it. You know what I'm saying? And
I gave back a 7 to 10 on appeal. What you give them back?
29.
No, that's what you did. What you give them back? You don't get the 29.
I'm
get
getting
the
29 back. I got my life back.
What was the sentence you gave back?
Life sentence, natural life. I was never supposed to come home. I had natural life 20 to 40 on and after. I was never supposed to come home. And now I'm home, business, house.
Helpful, productive.
Got my health. Loving
you might need to lose a couple pounds.
Yeah,
See, I'm following you with this again. Here I go. Here we go. I'm following you with this stomach thing.
But I'm loving it though. It's good. You know what I'm saying? That's
we used to be in shape holding the yard down.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Now we out of shape helping people.
That's good. That's a good thing though.
Yeah, I tell people, man, Dre, you need to go to the gym. I'm like, man, bump the gym. I remember I used to go to the gym, run the track, lift the weights faithfully. I used to be able to do so many sit-ups so I got tired.
Right.
Man, I can't do 3 sit-ups right now.
Yeah.
And don't even care. Like, Dre, why ain't you in shape? I don't care.
That's right.
I'm healthy, I'm home. I don't need to be in battle shape anymore. No battle shape for me now?
Right.
Reading a book.
That's definitely right.
So, we just want to let you know success is possible, but information is power. So let us help you get informed so you can do it the right thing and stop getting scammed by these lawyers who are there to allegedly help you. Because we have to keep, again, white, black doesn't matter. We have to be informed by people who know so we can do better.
Definitely.
All right. When my mother was struggling to find help for me as a young man, there was nobody who understood our problems and I could relate to. So after many failed attempts, I ended up in prison. My mother's sense of failure, shame, and stress were real. The worst part was she went through it alone. She was alone in trying to keep me out of prison. She was alone in navigating the prison system. And she was also alone trying to help me re-enter post my release. The Cafe of Hope was created so you don't have to go this journey alone. I know firsthand by real experiences what you're facing and you're feeling. We are here for you. I wish I could have created the Cafe of Hope for my mother back when she needed it, but I guess it was meant for us to go through this test so we can bring you our testimony. Thank you for allowing us to help support your family.